Don't move to Florida until you've watched this video till the end. Guys, there is a lot going on in Florida this year. Here in 2024, we are in a totally different landscape in terms of real estate, and I want you to understand everything before you move to Florida or within the state. I have in front of me on my computer, so I'm looking at my laptop right now, US News and World Report's fastest growing places in the US in 2024 and 2025. And there are a lot of cities on here that are in Florida. Number 1, Fort Myers. Number 3, Port St. Lucie. Number 4, Daytona Beach. Number 5, Tallahassee. Number 6, Ocala. Sounds great, right? Until you notice that they say that they are using the Census Bureau's net migration data from 2021 to 2022. Yes, everybody was moving to Florida in those years. It's different now. This information, unfortunately, is old, and this article is from May 22nd, 2024. So let's talk about what's really happening here in Florida. Now, in case we haven't met, my name is Krista, and I'm a realtor, and I've been a realtor in the Central Florida area, so that's like Metro Orlando, since 2009. But before then, I was once a person trying to move here with my family, coming from Eastern Europe, actually, so it was totally different. But we wound up here and we're okay. And I want you to be okay too. Now, if you'd like to reach out to me and talk to me, my contact information is always below this video. I would love to help you. If you are moving to or from Florida, please feel free to reach out to me.
Last year, the Sunshine State had 5 of the top 10 most popular cities. And this year, we just have 3 in the top 20. Ocala jumped to number 2, the second most popular move-in city in America. It was 4th last year. Jacksonville is at 9, Orlando at 18. That is a huge drop from last year's spot for Orlando of 3rd.
So number 1, the first thing I want to talk about, of course, is housing prices. Now, it used to be recently that Florida was super attractive because our housing prices were relatively inexpensive compared to other states. The prices have grown tremendously right now. And nowadays, as a result, a lot of local Floridians feel like they're being pushed out of Florida because of all these transplants who have come here. The property prices went up, up, up. Demand was super high 2022, during lockdowns. Florida's inventory is exploding. We have 60% more homes for sale this year than we did a year ago. Prices are still growing, so that's a little bit difficult to understand. The inventory is up, but prices are still growing, although it is a lot slower now. It's growing by 1.6%. It has grown since May of 2023. So in May of 2024, we're going to talk about median sales prices now in different cities. The median sales price in Florida altogether in general is $426,581. That's for all different property types, so condos, townhomes, and single-family homes. And now let's break that down a little bit and look at some different cities. In the Metro Orlando area in May of 2024, the average sales price, the median sales price rather, is $450,000. Just a little bit outside of that, we have Deltona, Ormond Beach, and Daytona Beach, and the median sales price is $365,000. Ocala being one of the most popular places to move to, $289,900. That's our median sales price. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, $640,000. Gainesville, $353,000. Pensacola, $335,000. Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, $424,000, and Jacksonville, $405,000. So those housing prices are definitely up, and coupled with those higher interest rates, Florida is a little bit less affordable than it was a few years ago. That should give you some idea of the housing prices around the state. Number 2, we're going to talk about homeowners insurance. Now, this is also a topic that I have covered in other videos. I'll drop a link to a video where I kind of talked about this in greater detail. But homeowners insurance, we do have a crisis here. It's partially due to the harsh weather. It's partially due to litigation and just companies deciding that they wanted to leave Florida. So we have less competition among different carriers. So there's just fewer carriers for you. Now, I would love to tell you that you could just call up an insurance agent and give them an address or a zip code or something, and they could give you the price of the homeowner's insurance, but that's not how it works, at least in Florida. For most homes, you would need to provide your insurance salesperson with what's called a 4-point and a wind mitigation. And these are 2 reports that you typically get from your home inspector. So the 4-point covers AC, plumbing, wiring, and the roof. And the wind mitigation study, well, that's going to look at the roof and let the insurance company know how likely it is to be able to withstand heavy rains and high winds. The insurance companies will look at those and decide if they're even going to cover the home at all. And if not, then you can usually go to Citizens, which is the state-funded insurance. Although that is, that company is trying to get away from writing so many policies. It was never intended to cover every house in Florida, and it is covering far more than it is supposed to be. So they are definitely backing off this year. But in order to get these two reports, typically what you do is you go under contract on a house. You have a home inspection done. Once you've taken a look at that and you decide that you're moving forward, then you ask your home inspector to prepare these two reports. They're anywhere between 75 and 150 bucks. And then you hand them into your insurance agent and they can, get you a more accurate quote on your homeowner's insurance. And when you hear the news reports about how expensive homeowners insurance is in Florida, you're typically hearing about homes on the coast or, older homes that don't have these updates that the insurance company considers important. For instance, maybe it has outdated wiring, or the home is in a flood zone. So if you're buying new construction, this isn't probably going to be a concern for you. We have also in Florida approved a number of insurance carriers that are coming to the state. And with that increased competition, I would expect that when they begin writing policies, these rates are going to come down again. At least I hope. So this is a constantly evolving situation in Florida. Unfortunately, it's not one that you can do a whole lot of research on from out of state. Number 3, let's talk about where the best deals are. As I just mentioned, new construction is going to be the most beneficial in terms of homeowners insurance. And in a lot of ways, new construction is presenting a value that is difficult to beat. I get texts and emails every single day from home builders offering all kinds of incentives. I mean, if you're worried about that interest rate, most new construction builders, now I'm not talking about like a custom build, I'm talking about like a new home community where there's lots and lots of houses all by the same builder. They will buy down your interest rate as low as 4.5% right now. They'll pay your closing costs. They will do anything to get you in a home. Okay, wait, not necessarily anything. The last thing they're gonna do is reduce the price. And let me explain why. So if you're buying a model of a home and they offer it to you for $430,000 and they just sold the same one for $450,000. Well, they still have to do appraisals, and any future appraisals after yours are going to be skewed by your sale of $430,000. So unless they are super desperate, that is the last thing they're going to touch. The best deal that you're going to get, though, if you want to buy new construction, the very best deal you're going to find is on homes that are already completed. So if you're willing to not worry about what color cabinetry you have or what color tile you have in the house, and you're okay with going with the home that's already built, those are where you're going to get the best deal. Why? Because the builder already has their money sitting in that house and they need to get their money back out and move on to the next project. So look for those, and especially the ones that were under contract, ready to close, and then the buyer did not qualify for financing. Those are the very, very best deals, and they are happening and they are definitely available. Ask your realtor. Most of us get updated lists constantly. Number 4, let's talk about car insurance. So in Florida, full coverage car insurance is 50% more expensive than the average car insurance nationwide. There are a lot of reasons why this is so. We have a lot of uninsured drivers, I'm told. We have a lot of litigation in Florida. We have extreme weather, of course, and just the general driver profiles have driven up the cost of insurance for your car. As of June 2024, Florida has some of the highest car insurance costs in the country, with the average annual full coverage policy costing $3,945. Keep in mind, though, you can bundle this with your homeowner's insurance usually and get a discount. And luckily, if you are out of state, car insurance is something that you would be able to call an insurance carrier, give them the VIN number off your car and find out exactly how much it's going to cost based on the zip code that you're looking at. So you can budget ahead for this. Number 5, property taxes. So what I want you to understand in property taxes is that when you're shopping online for a house or looking around and you see one that has like super low taxes and you get very excited about that, you have not found hidden information here that's going to help you. What this means is usually that the owners have been living there for a long, long time. And Florida has something called a homestead exemption and Save Our Homes. So the homestead exemption means that you live in the house and it gives you an exemption on some of those property taxes. It essentially takes $50,000 off of the tax assessed value and then recalculates your taxes based on that. But more importantly, I guess, is Save Our Homes, which keeps the tax assessed value from raising more than 3% per year. So if you have lived there for a long time, that value is going to rise slowly. So when you buy a home, that tax assessed value is going to reset and it's going to go off of what you paid for the home. Similarly, if you buy new construction on your first year, your taxes are more than likely going to be based on the raw land value, which of course is different from the value that it will be when the tax assessor notices that there's a house on the land. So what you need to do to be careful is go on a tax calculator. There are plenty of them available online, and you put in the amount that you're paying for the home and the county that it's located in, and it will assess those taxes for you. Because what can happen is when you buy new construction, the value of the land is going to be much lower, of course. So your taxes the first year you buy it might be $300 a year, and then they jump up to $5,000. And what's going to happen is if you're paying with a mortgage, your escrow amount is going to change by hundreds of dollars every month. And I don't want you to get in trouble with that because you didn't understand that your tax amount is going to change. And now, even though we have the Save Our Homes, which prevents the tax assessed value from changing more than 3% per year, the millage rate can change. That it also has caps on how far it can go up, and it can also go down, but you do have to pay attention to your millage rate. Number 6. Now, if you were dreaming of moving into a condo in Florida and just kicking back and enjoying condo life, maybe on the ocean, I want you to please check out my video on Florida condos because we have some major issues in condos right now. I suspect over the next year that prices are going to go down and continue to go down. So please watch that video and consider everything that I talk about. Make sure that if you are moving ahead with a condo purchase, that you are getting all the documents that I recommend in that video and reviewing them thoroughly before you move ahead with a purchase. Number 7, the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's talk about state income tax. So Florida is one of a handful of states with no state income tax. Those include Alaska, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. And this is going to help alleviate some of these other things that we are seeing that have jumped up in Florida. Florida is also one of the most tax-friendly states for retirees. Florida has no taxes on Social Security, no inheritance tax, no estate tax, no taxes on retirement income like pensions, IRAs, or 401ks. Florida does have sales tax, so that's something else you'll want to figure, but I think it's definitely worthwhile sitting down and doing a tax calculator to figure out your personal total tax burden. That could be something that tips the scales one way or the other if you are contemplating a move. Number 8, homeowners associations. This is a topic that I want to dig into a little bit deeper in a future video, but in Florida, it's kind of hard to avoid them. There are about 50,000 homeowners associations. I think just California has more than Florida does. So it's likely that you will look at homes in homeowners associations. Of course, we have non-homeowners associations, but those tend to be older neighborhoods. If you want a newer neighborhood, I can't really even think of any that don't have a homeowners association. So right now in Florida, and as of July 1st, there are going to be some changes to HOAs. They have lost a little bit of their power. They can't fine you for random little things like leaving your trash can out for too long after trash pickup. So that's going to be changing soon. You can bring a truck and park it in your yard. You can park a boat in your backyard as long as it's not visible by other people or by, if it's a golf course community, the golf course can't be able to see it. There are little changes happening to HOAs. Board members have to attend some educational classes. They have to provide you copies of their important documents. They have to make it accessible to people in the community, which is something that has always, for me as a realtor, been kind of bothersome. When I have somebody who wants to look at the rules and regulations of the community, it's like trying to track down, secret classified documents sometimes, or the HOA wants to get paid for them, or they don't, the owner doesn't have a copy, the seller doesn't have a copy, and the HOA doesn't return your phone calls. That stuff now has to be made available online, easily accessible by owners. Now, I personally am not totally anti-HOA. The benefit of it, I think just in some ways, many HOAs are getting a little bit out of control in very nitpicky things, and this should help alleviate some of that. Now, I know there's a lot of uncertainty everywhere in America. It's not just here in Florida. We seem to have some fairly dramatic crises happening right now, but there's inflation everywhere. It's an election year. There's a lot of changes happening right now, but keep doing your research, keep watching videos, keep doing reading, and if it's right for you to come join us in the Sunshine State, come join us. Thanks for watching.